Good evening, everyone. Tonight we'll look at Purdue's female marksmen, a men's swimming and diving update, and how men's and women's tennis teams have been doing in Big Ten play. But first, here's your men's basketball wrap-up.
Sweet 16, number 1 UConn, number 5 Purdue, all UConn early on. In fact, all Stanley Robinson early on, netting 6 of UConn's first 8 points, the bucket and one there. The Huskies would continue the strong start, but Purdue's first half savior, Robbie Hummel, gets his 5th point of the game with that 3. And later on, Hasheem Thabeet would make his presence known as well. They're going to do their motion offense, and eventually they're going to find E'Twaun Moore on the wing, but Hasheem Thabeet's going to sniff out his drive, and he's going to get a block. He only had 4 blocks, but he was a huge difference maker in the low post. Later on, 9-point lead for the UConn, and boys need their savior, but he's gone cold. He only had 2 points in the second half, and look who's there for the rebound, Thabeet. Anyway, a little over 12 minutes left, and Hummel's cold, but Keaton Grant is not, at least for now, because he's going to bring the Purdue within 5 with that 3-pointer, but Thabeet still owns the paint. This time he's going to block Hummel, and Hummel didn't score in the first 15 minutes of the second half when he finally hit a layup with 5:08 left. And Purdue is still in it. Little over 7 minutes left, UConn only by 8, but A.J. Price and Craig Austrie of UConn have other ideas. Price is going to drive on Kramer and kick it out to Austrie, early dagger. 3 of his 17 points right there. And it would prove to be a huge turning point because with about 3 minutes left right here, this goaltend on Kramer's shot will be the last time Purdue was even within 8. It wasn't even really a goaltend. Anyway, final seconds tick down and UConn gets the lead 8, the score of 72-60 over the Boilermakers.
Well, now that is what I call a pretty successful year for the men's basketball team.
Well, yeah, actually a lot of the main contributors are going to be returning next year, like Hummel and Juwan Johnson. All those guys are going to be back next year.
Okay, then. All right, well, we saw how the young men's team did. Let's see how the experienced women's Boilermakers have been doing in the NCAA tournament.
Sweet 16, this time for the women now, but coming off a big victory against North Carolina, their opponent Rutgers coming off a big one themselves against number 2 seeded Auburn. Wisdom Hilton fighting for this bucket, and she would hit. They would never relinquish that lead. Fast forward late into this one, still a slim 4-point lead, but Khadijah Rush wants to make the Boilermakers sweat. She's going to go ahead and drive right at Wisdom Hilton and hit the acrobatic layup, but it still wouldn't matter. Boilermakers advance over the Scarlet Knights 67-61. Now we're going to jump right ahead to the Elite 8 versus number 1 Oklahoma, and their star player, Courtney Paris, is not messing around early. She takes Campbell for 2 of her 19 with a miss and then a putback for the first bucket of this epic game for a berth in the Final Four. Now this game went back and forth early. 3-point lead for the Boilermakers. Howell to Wisdom Hilton over Paris, hits it over her head and the foul. Boilermakers by 6 after the free throw. Second half, 3-point lead again. But Kiki Freeman was hot, hitting 2 of her 12 points right there over Whitney Hand. Boilermakers by 5. But I haven't even mentioned the Knights' top scorer. It was Danielle Robinson. She's not really known for her scoring, but she drives and pops with 2 of her 23 points right there. The Boilers wouldn't taste a lead for the rest of the game as a free throw shooting contest puts them away. The teams combined for a stunning 55 for 65 from the charity stripe.
The Trap and Skeet Club at Purdue University has a strong reputation for hosting award-winning shooters amongst its members. Although it is mostly a male club, one female student set her sights on breaking the norm. We'll check in with Phil Wrighthouse for more on the story.
When it comes to guns, many girls say that they're too afraid to even hold one. But for Jennifer Wolf, shooting guns with the boys of Purdue's Trap and Skeet Club can be considered one of her main hobbies. Though she has the skills to shoot, proving her capabilities to the boys has been something sort of a challenge.
We were all getting ready to shoot, and the guy standing next to me turned to me and kind of smirked, and he was like, "Be sure you turn your safety off." And I was like, "Oh, I can't believe you just said that. I'm not some stupid girl that doesn't know how to shoot a gun."
Learning to shoot with her dad has taught her how to shoot a gun. But at Purdue is where she learned defiance in a club that is predominantly male. Shooting with members of the Trap and Skeet Club has taught her how to stand out against the norm. Having Jennifer as a member has also taught the club that shooting guns isn't just for boys.
In other Purdue sports, the men's tennis team fell to number 45 ranked Indiana 5-2 on Saturday. The team is now 0-4 in Big Ten play, but they have 2 more chances when they take on number 58 Northwestern on Friday, and number 24 Wisconsin on Sunday. The women's squad also lost to Indiana 4-3. They also play Northwestern and Wisconsin over the weekend.
Purdue diving standout freshman David Budaya won 2 national titles in the 3-meter springboard and the platform in the NCAA Swimming and Diving Championships in College Station, Texas. Sophomore David Coultari and junior Kyle Mitrione also took All-American honors. The team finished 13th in the nation. That's all this week in Purdue sports, and now we'll go to the weather station for your national weather update.
Go and take a look at what we should expect across the nation this weekend. We see out west on the coast some pleasant weather and some sunny skies for the California region. A little bit further east, we see there's a low pressure system in the area that's going to bring some significant snowfall to the Rocky Mountains area. So if you're doing any traveling out there, keep an eye on the weather. Further south in the Texas region, some dry weather, as they've seen for a lot of this year with those drought conditions. In the Midwest, a high pressure system will be dominating the area with some partly sunny skies and a dry Saturday. Out in the east, a low pressure system will be lingering behind, bringing some showers to the New England area. Taking a look at Sunday, however, we see the low pressure system moves further into the Midwest, bringing some storms and maybe some possibly strong storms later in the day on Sunday for the Midwest. Some T-storms also down in the Florida area. Out to the west, though, about more of the same. High pressure system will move in, keeping them nice and partly sunny up north and sunny down south, and luckily some relief for that snowy area that they saw on Saturday. If you're doing any local traveling, looks like we have some varied weather this weekend. Indianapolis will be in the upper 50s, and into Sunday we will see some switch from partly sunny skies to quite a bit of rain. Chicago, same story, only a little bit cooler with temperatures in the mid 40s expected. Evansville, same story, also rain on Sunday and temperatures in the mid 60s. Now, one thing we need to keep an eye on for most of the nation on Monday is we're going to be seeing a very, very cool day. This is wind chill temperatures, and you can see most of the East Coast is going to be seeing wind chills of 30 degrees or less, and the purple region is actually below 0. So it's going to be a very cold Monday and not the spring we would expect. So make sure you grab your coat if you're going out on Monday. For the Fast Track Weather team, I'm Samantha Wild. I'll send it back to the studio.
After our break, we'll give you a heads up on all the fun events happening around campus.
And see how some students celebrated April Fool's Day. We'll be right back.
Grab your friends and go. From beginners to advanced skaters, learn how to ride, do 180s, and much more. While either skating around campus or taking trips to skate parks, the Skateboarding Club can be the place for you. Contact Ryan Allen at 201-919-8433 for more information.